Check, check, check. 1, 2. Hello. One sec. What was that? Just quickly send a message and I'll start. Before I forgot. I mean, I was breathing quite loudly. Did you hear that? Live stream every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, a lot of the time. Cool, message sent. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and MPs, welcome back to Hellstorm Wargaming. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning and welcome to this fantastic live stream. Hello, how are we doing today? Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. I hope you've had a wonderful couple of days. I hope you had a good Monday if I didn't see you. I hope you had a good weekend if I didn't see you. If I didn't see you on Monday, hopefully you had a good Tuesday. Welcome to Wednesday. It's a pretty big news story that we're going to be covering this morning. I will say that's probably the most of the news. So if anything else lands on our desk, then we'll have a look at it, definitely. But there was a rather large announcement last night, what feels like out of nowhere. So we're going to be talking about that this morning. So welcome in, come in, say hi, say hello. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Appreciate you. I'm just going to tell my Discord that I've gone live. Just need to tell everybody that it's big. Everyone, big news. I hope you didn't invest too much into any Star Wars. So hello. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Appreciate you. 40k app just updated with all the Maelstrom points and day sheets. That's cool. Oh, thank God. That's great news. It's updated today. Have they nerfed Catan? That's the real question. Did they actually end up nerfing any Catan or nah? Did they bother? I don't know why I'm looking at my app. My app don't automatically update anymore. Is it out on an iPhone or just Android? Nothing on iPhone. Nada bing, nada boom. Literally nothing on an iPhone. Big drama GW doesn't want you to know about. Fuck! That's such a much better title. That's such a better title, bro. God damn it. The question is level 1 crook drama or level 100 boss? This is level 100, level 99 mafia boss drama. What's going on with my hair, bro? What the fuck? Right, we got a footboy flick today. All right. This is level 99 mafia boss drama. Magobo! Thank you for the 5, bud.
Wars, you say? Tell us more.
I will. I'll get into it momentarily. Let me just say a huge thank you to you, Mr. Magobo. You are being entered in to our giveaway.
Mikey!
Thank you so much for the 5. And Papaya, thanks for the 10.
The stream. It makes me too sad.
I'm sorry, I know, Papaya. We both love this game. We do both love this game. But thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Really appreciate it. Anyone who wants to super chat or become a member today, I'm adding your name to a list. I'm adding your name to a list, as well as Organ UK. Thank you for the resub. For a Lords of the Maelstrom box set, which is going to be given away on Monday evening. So if you'd like to enter a whole box of sprues for literally 1 sub, or 1 gifted, or 1 super chat, you can enter today by becoming a member, or do what Organ just did by resubbing for 41 months. What a legend. What a legend, dude. Appreciate you, Organ. Organ. UK, thank you so much. You're in there as well, mate. Anyone becomes a member, every gifted you send, every £5 super chat you send, I'll add you onto this list. It is cheaper to become a Boys Club member. That's your cheapest entry. It's literally £1.99. But that is one way you can do loads more. So appreciate you. Hope you're all doing well. So we're going to talk about the big gossip initially, and it's not really gossip. This is like a big announcement, quite a wild announcement. It kind of felt like it's come out of, well, as someone who's not like mega following every pulse of this game, it kind of feels like it's come out of nowhere. But I also understand what's happening. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to show you a headline. It says Star Wars Shatterpoint Wargame. Sorry, I need to record this for the second channel. I'm just going to do the intro again. Is that okay, everyone? Chat, do you mind if I do the intro again? Is that okay? Sorry, I know that was really unprofessional of me. That was really unprofessional of me. Okay, I'm just going to do it again. So, as someone who doesn't follow every pulse of this game, I keep like a good eye on it. You know what I mean? I like this game. I really enjoy it, but I don't keep like finger on every single pulse. I don't keep my finger on everything that's happening. I kind of feel like this announcement's out of nowhere, like I come out of like a little bit of left field, but maybe people who are in the game a lot more than I am, who play it a lot more regularly than I do, might have seen this coming. Because I'm going to show you a headline. It says Star Wars Shatterpoint Wargame joins X-Wing and Legion in 2023. Now, you could slightly edit this this headline from wargaming.com from 2022 to Star Wars Shatterpoint Wargame joins X-Wing and Armada in 2026, because there was a press release last night from Atomic Mass Games, the creators of all of the Star Wars games, as well as Marvel Crisis Protocol. Andy, thank you very much for the 41 months. Appreciate it.
Rejoined at Andy Tech that celebrates 41 months of membership. Did I interrupt your intro?
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. So there's an announcement today called a press release, which is never great news, I won't lie. A lot of the time, if they're not making a cool announcement on Instagram, but they're calling it a press release, it's never good news, sadly. It says, Atomic Mass Games announces strategic focus on key games line to strengthen core portfolio and support long-term growth. Chat, that is the most LinkedIn headline I've ever seen. But it's not great news. It isn't great news, I won't lie. So, not great. Dealwag, thank you for the 57 months, bud.
Rejoined.
That's true.
Lag 8136 celebrates 57 months of membership. The world is against me enjoying Star Wars games.
That's so true, dude. Thank you so much for the memberships. Really appreciate it, guys. Andy, for the 41 months at Parasocial tier, you should become Parasocial tier, everyone. It'd be really sick if you did. You get to join the exclusive WhatsApp group and chat to me all the time, and also insult me. And also, Diabag, thank you for the 57 months, dude. Really appreciate it. I'm glad on my video where I was like, these are the games I'm getting into in 2026. I'm glad I was already into Shatterpoint so I could get into Legion properly. So, if you haven't heard the news, excuse me. If you haven't heard the news, basically, Atomic Mass Games are saying that they're working on strategic focus and they're strengthening core portfolio. What does this mean in layman's terms? We'll go through the full announcement, but it basically means they're cutting support for Shatterpoint. They're not killing the game. They're not going bye-bye Shatterpoint like they did X-Wing and Armada once upon a time, but they are reducing the amount of support that they're going to be showing for that game and focusing on Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Legion, okay? Which is an absolutely crazy announcement in my opinion, because Star Wars Legion is a lot older than Star Wars Shatterpoint. Star Wars Shatterpoint was kind of like AMG's first game when they kind of took over it from Fantasy Flight, etc., from FFG. When they kind of like took over as the game studio, they took X-Wing, Armada, and Legion, as well as Marvel Crisis Protocol, I believe, at the time, or maybe Marvel Crisis Protocol was like in development at the time, and they kind of like sent it out, and then they made Shatterpoint, which is basically Star Wars Marvel Crisis Protocol, and that one clearly hasn't just been selling as well as they'd hoped. So MCP was AMG's first game. My apologies. Yeah, so they took on Star Wars, they made Marvel Crisis Protocol. So then they made Shatterpoint, which was again Star Wars version of Marvel Crisis Protocol or MCP. And they tried to push that, and clearly it's not worked. It's not gone well. They cut support for X-Wing and Armada. We watched a video about it probably about a year ago, maybe, that was discussing like the main problem with that X-Wing and Armada is not only just like it was a game that they weren't like super in tune with. It's also like hand-painted minis, which is just like problematic as things get more expensive as trade wars happen and stuff like that. So X-Wing and Armada got cut like a couple of years ago, but Shatterpoint was like their new thing that was kind of like not rivaling Star Wars Legion, but it was like the side game. I always said Star Wars Legion is the 40k Star Wars Legion 40k, and then Shatterpoint is like Kill Team, but ultimately it's clearly not been working. Maybe, I don't know if it's the scale of the models, the gameplay, etc. I think the gameplay's fun. I think it's a really good game. It's a game that I don't play too often, I won't lie. I haven't played it in quite a while. Painted some minis for it, but I haven't played it in quite a while. So Shatterpoint was good, but no one liked the random mission location and it ruined the game. So yeah, there's probably there's obviously like a fundamental, there's going to be quite a lot of reasons. It's going to be the minis are too expensive, the missions really rubbish, the releases are really bad, the way this works is really bad. There's going to be a lot of things, but clearly that's all stacked up against Shatterpoint to a point where it's moving from a core game to where they're going to have now a specialist game. And by specialist game, I mean they're just not be releasing as much. So my suspicion is they were making Shatterpoint before they got given Legion. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense that they were kind of like, here's Marvel Crisis Protocol, we're gonna make a Star Wars version, and then they ended up inheriting Legion because AMG basically became Asmodee's like miniature company, you know, miniature game company. Because Fantasy Flight Games is their board game company. The Atomic Mass Games is their like miniatures games. So more proof of AMG incompetence. I don't know if it's incompetence. I don't know I don't know the fundamental reasons because I've not got the pictures at the other side of the story, right? I ain't got the data or anything like that. But Shatterpoint's a well-loved game, don't get me wrong. It's a good game,
Mikey!
but clearly it's not been working.
Chat £5. Glad I only paid half price for it.
Yeah, half price will definitely make this announcement a little easier. So let me just quickly add you. Magabo, thank you again for the 5, mate. Really appreciate it. If you want to join the conversation, you want to appear in a video, make sure you use Super Chat as well. So let's have a look at the announcement. It says, press release, Atomic Mass Games announced a strategic focus on key games line to strengthen core portfolio and support long-term growth. Seattle, February 24th, Atomic Mass Games, the Asmodee studio dedicated to miniature games, today announced a strategic focus on several key game lines. AMG will focus its support on its flagship titles and realign its resources towards these priorities, involving adjustments to the studio's organizational structure. As part of this restructuring, the studio will now be led by co-heads of studio Will Schick and Brandon Anderson. So basically, like I said, it involves, they're doing a big reorganization, probably making people redundant soon, which is obviously a real shame, but maybe hopefully just moving people around the company, and then support the flagship titles and realign its resources. So basically, stop supporting outside games and focus on the ones that are selling and making money, i.e. Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Legion. So it says a stronger focus on flagship games. A key driver to the reorganization to allow Atomic Mass Games to enhance focus on its flagship titles, Star Wars Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol, delivering the depth, innovation, and high-quality gameplay experience that players expect. So they are the big sellers. That's what they're saying. You know, they are the big ones that sell. They are the most important ones. And like I said, no matter what, we'll get into it in a minute. Is to say it's part of this realignment. Atomic Mass Games Star Wars Shatterpoint product line will be transitioning into a specialist core game line. So basically what they're saying is they're not killing the game off. This isn't quite an X-Wing Armada moment, but it's moving in that direction. They're moving it to specialist game. It's going to be less of a focus. There's going to be less resources, less people in the team that work on it. It's going to be like probably like quite a close-knit team. There probably won't be as many releases for it, which will make it cheaper for you, but also, you know, fundamentally, sadly, the releases like power hype trains, you know what I mean? They power new onboarding, they power just like general interest in a game, and if generally that's happening less and less, there is naturally going to be less and less interest in buying into a game that doesn't get that much support. But because it's a specialist game, that doesn't mean the game's completely dead. It just means it's less of a direct focus. If Star Wars Legion, Shatterpoint, and Marvel Crisis Protocol all get 10 big releases a year, okay, they want to continue releasing 10 big releases for Star Wars Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol, but maybe they want to make Star Wars Shatterpoint like 5, you know? It's not completely dead in the water. It sounds like it, but it's just like they are restructuring. Whenever the reorganization, restructuring basically means they're moving people around the company because they've realized that they can make more money investing that person's time doing this rather than this, right? That's basically like the same. So it's not completely dead. It's just going to have less support than normal. It's going to move to the specialist core game line. Which is quite funny because it's called specialist and core at the same time. But yeah, like if you look at like Games Workshop, for an example, 40k, Age of Sigmar, Heresy, and Old World. Well, actually, I'd probably just say 40k and Age of Sigmar are their like main lines. You've got Heresy and Old World, which are less core game, but they are like fundamentally part of like the core lineup. And then you have specialist games such as Middle Earth, strategy battle game. You have Necromunda and largely Kill Team as well, you know, and Warcry and the other card game, Underworlds. They're like they're the specialist games. So like Necromunda and Blood Bowl are probably prime examples, really, if you want to like just focus on the core ones, the specialist core lines. They are like clearly part of like Games Workshop's overall marketing strategy of releasing these games and creating products for these games, but they're clearly their focus is 40k. It's not Necromunda, it's not Blood Bowl. They still get releases, but like they get releases like I don't know off the top of my head, but I guess like once a quarter they'd get a big release, whereas 40k gets a big release what feels like every day. So it's just one of those things that you have to like kind of consider when you are playing this game, when you are buying into this game, is that like that's what it feels like they're going to do. They've got a specialist core game studio, which basically means smaller bit on the corner rather than like a main focus. I know it's only an example, but I don't think Shatterpoint even have 5 releases this year. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't follow the game enough to know like the intricacies of the like releases and stuff, you know. I've got all the new mission stuff. I got the new Darth Vader, the event only one, and event exclusive one. I got some other bits, some mobs, you know. But like, yeah, I wouldn't. It's just like I'm just guessing at random numbers. So, it's a basic rule of thumb: if the IP isn't owned by the people making the game isn't a one-off. Don't expect long-term support or investment. Well, I mean, that rule of thumb instantly falls over when you talk about Star Wars Legion, because that has been going longer than Star Wars Shatterpoint, and it is their core game line, you know? They just, like, the thing is with it, is, like, when you are using someone else's IP, things are inherently more expensive, you know? Because no matter what you make, you've got to put a tax on it to pay Disney, you know? In this instance, to pay Disney. You've got to pay LucasArts Studio for the rights to use the Star Wars characters. So everything inherently becomes more expensive. And the thing is with like other IP, or when you're using someone else's IP, is that the people who own the IP holders will be expecting a certain level of success. You know, if I say I'm gonna sell 100,000 Darth Vader miniatures in a year, right, they're gonna be like, holy shit. And then like the first year I sell 100,000 Darth Vader miniatures, they're like, well done, great, cool, that's perfect. But if I say I'm going to sell another 100,000, then I only sell 50,000, they're gonna be like, huh, that's not quite what you promised, you know. And the thing is with that is that if Warhammer, they're going to sell 100,000 Space Marines and they only sell 50,000, well, that's pretty poo. But if Disney go, well, you only sold 50,000, you know what we can do? We can go take our IP and the idea of a miniatures game, which has clearly worked, and move it to someone else. So, like, they've got to like, keep up appearances and keep up this rate, but also keep paying this tax of an IP license, you know? So it's like, it's just one of those that like, which is always going to be an issue. Clearly, when they say they're going to sell that many Darth Vaders in Star Wars Legion, they do. It works. But the ultimate cost of it all is that, like, if they say they're going to do something in Shatterpoint, they're not quite hitting it, and they're spending all of this time and resources in terms of staffing, well, why couldn't they spend that same resource and put it into a game that is clearly selling way more than one game that is selling but not selling as much, you know? So it's ultimately like a negative for Star Wars Shatterpoint to be moved into this specialist idea. But it great thing it's not dead. It's clearly still getting support, or they'd say it's over, you know? We're cutting this game. But it's but clearly, like, the other two games are working fine, you know, or they'd be like, we're cutting out support for all games, you know. It's just like, if you've got 20 people working on Legion and 20 people working on Star Wars Shatterpoint, as Star Wars Legion's outselling Shatterpoint, and Shatterpoint's like doing quite poorly or just not great, maybe it's just hitting targets and Legion's far surpassing them. If I was spending 200, 300, 400, 500,000 pounds a year on staff to run Star Wars Shatterpoint, and that's making 500,000, I'm spending the same amount on Legion, and that's making $1 million, I'm going to put more people on Legion because that's making more money, you know? That's ultimately what it is. It's not like the game's dead and it's over. It's just like, one of them, they're investing so much money in making this mount, this pound, you know, this profit per dollar or whatever they want to talk about. And then this game is making this, which is profit per dollar but less. Why don't I just use that and put them there? That's all they're that's what they mean by reorganization. They're going, you fuckers in this studio. Sorry, I didn't mean to call them fuckers. These lovely people in Star Wars Shatterpoint studio, can you move your asses into this studio because this one makes more money? You know, that's it. You know. So yeah, it's not over. The game's not dead. It's petering off, so they're relying on it less. Hopefully that might make sense. I don't know. I'm only using the press release, but I don't want my video or the words out of my mouth to be like, Mikey said Star Wars Shatterpoint is a dead game and it's over. When I'm not saying that, they're not saying that, but it's obviously not looking good for them. They'd just rather invest that money into Star Wars Legion. So it says, as a specialist game, Shatterpoint will continue to be supported to ensure consistent availability and the highest level of gameplay experience possible by MG, while streamlining the number of releases to align with restructured development resources of the studio. So they're still planning on doing releases for it, especially in terms of like having models available to buy. The product is still going to be available to buy. That's one of their promises. They're also going to be doing balance updates, because that's what it says, the highest level of gameplay experience. So things like balance updates, rules updates, mission updates are still part of like the core release, but they're just not releasing as many kits for it, you know? If what it said, it's like 6 releases last year, they're probably only going to get 3. They might even only get 2, but they're just not going to get as many. They're focusing on why don't we just do less releases, focus on the gameplay, keep it ticking over for now whilst we focus on Legion, because that's working. So these shits will enable AMG to redirect investment and talent towards These shits will enable AMG to redirect investment and talent towards continue to grow and expand Legion following its successful second edition launch in fall of 2025, with both new expansions focused on the game's 4 main factions, as well as exploring bringing new sub-factions to the game, such as was done with Shadow Collective in 2022. So yeah, like I said, like everything I've said is just true. They've just basically gone, fuck, Star Wars Legion sold far more than anything this year with our big launch. They did the 4 faction boxes, which are really good and really praised, I would say. I've got to go like the Empire and the Rebels one. Both, like, the ones I got, great releases, but they did one for each faction, the 4 main factions, you know? The Rebels and the Empire, then the Rebels and the Empire, but prequel. So they just say that it's like, this clearly worked, we're doubling down, you know? We're doubling down on this game because it clearly worked. Our other launches for Shatterpoint have probably done fine, you know? Yeah, exactly. The starter sets are amazing. You're totally right. They're great. And clearly they've been, like, looked upon favorably in terms of, like, people's money out of pockets, you know what I mean? They've clearly been very popular, and that's why they want to focus on it. And then they want to do new sub-factions like the Shadow Collective. So that's their focus is, why don't we just like pump absolutely everything into Legion? Because that just seems to be working way more. So Legion's probably going to get way more releases, way more support. Star Wars Shatterpoint is going to be, you know, taking over, like it seems. In addition to expanding the number of type of forces within the game, this new focus... In addition to expanding the new number and type of forces within the game, this new focus will be key in AMD's ability to introduce new gameplay expansions such as the skirmish game mode, special operations, and the recently announced large-scale mode full-scale war as a new supporting product type. So they kind of realised that the skirmish game of Shatterpoint hasn't quite worked as well as they would hoped, you know. Again, it's not over, it's just less. It's that they're like, clearly they've gone, the idea of Shatterpoint as a skirmish game hasn't quite been popular, whereas everybody has Legion. We can go, right, we'll make a skirmish game for that, and we'll make a full-scale game. You can see it, they're making Kill Team and Apocalypse, basically. That's what they're making for Legion, because it's the better game, it's the better selling game, so it's not the better game, ignore that, but you know. Yeah, if you're a Legion player, this is an amazing news. You're getting so much more support than you had before, and all you have to do is just keep buying shit. AMG's other flagship game, Crisis Protocol, will see significant benefit, including a renewed focus on consistent and compelling product expansions drawing from the breadth of the Marvel universe, as well as several new generation initiatives which looking to expand the reach of the brand to new players and audiences. So clearly, Marvel Crisis Protocol is doing well. Legion is their priority, you know. I would happily say, I would put a fiver on, if they had to compare their sales numbers and the support that they're planning, from their games to Games Workshop games, Legion just became 40k, and Marvel Crisis Protocol just became Age of Sigmar, whereas Star Wars Shatterpoint became Necromunda. You know, in terms of like support, focus, drive. You know, like the easiest way to compare it, which is like, I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. Legion, obviously a great game, great minis, great systems. Shatterpoint, great game, less popular. That is okay to say. It is just less popular. It's a more niche game because it's a large-scale skirmish game in Star Wars with just heroes, you know, like not really any units or anything. Which, while Darth Vader's sick and Luke's sick, Star Wars is known for like their like underdog units, you know. Look how popular Andor was compared to anything else with like main hero lightsabers in it. Crisis Protocol, again, popular, just not as popular. They rode the wave of Marvel hype, you know what I mean? Like when these games were coming out, Endgame and stuff were like huge. Everybody was getting into Marvel. Now it's just not as popular. Don't get me wrong, it's still popular. It's still a big IP. Marvel is huge. It makes so much money every year. It's just not quite as big as it used to be, especially in terms of movies, with movie like drain of like, oh god, another Marvel movie that I've got to see before I can watch the newest one. And all of that will have a compounding effect because they are reliant on these things to sell the IP, you know. As long as like Star Wars is popular for Disney, these games should remain popular as well. If Star Wars suddenly was dead in the water, which it's not, if Star Wars was suddenly dead in the water, then this game probably would be as well, you know. So like all of these, the kind of like lots of like knock-on effects, you know what I mean? They're like these companies, whilst it's Disney selling IP to one company, it's obviously they're like kind of like intrinsically working together all the time. I did notice a while back with Marvel Crisis Protocol, they tried to pivot to characters that are featured in Marvel Rivals. I didn't notice that, but that would make so much sense. Marvel Rivals was a big hit, you know? So what do? They double down. They're not going to keep making like superheroes that are like, okay, the movies are coming out if they're just not as popular. So our goal is to build a stronger and more focused studio that can better cater to the needs of our players, said David Pretty, head of crowdfunding strategy and miniatures lines at Asmodee. Realignment requires changes that can be challenging for our team and our community, but this step allows us to invest more deeply in the games our players care about most and to build a more sustainable foundation for the future. So ultimately, they're basically saying that, yeah, layoffs are the next, the layoffs are ultimately going to be like part of this. But like I said, like hopefully people are moving around the company rather than moving out of the company. So, but ultimately we won't know until we know, you know what I mean? It's just a shame that it's just like, Realignment requires changes that can be challenging for our team. Basically, they're saying we're probably going to be making people redundant. So, Thomas Games remains a key part of Asmodee's core fan ecosystem. As part of its forward-looking strategy, the studio will continue to explore new ways to engage players, including potential new market opportunities and innovative distribution models, while maintaining strong relationships with retailers and partners who are essential ambassadors for the hobby. By showing our focus and aligning our resources around core titles, we're positioning Atomic Mass Games for long-term growth. Will Schick, the co-head of studio, added, "Our commitment remains the same to our support our communities, innovate thoughtfully, and continue delivering the high-quality hobby experience that brings people together." So, yeah, just jargon. Just jargon. Yeah, the line must go up. And clearly the line's going up, not going up quite as quick as they'd like with Shatterpoint. So it is a shame. Don't get me wrong. Like, a game losing support is always rough. Like, no matter what, that's okay to say. Like, a game getting less support is rough, but it's not completely bad news. It's not like this game dead now. This game's over, because it's clearly not. It's clearly not. But I don't think, like I said, Star Wars Shatterpoint doesn't get that many releases in a year anyway. To say that they're going to get even less than that is a bit like. Issue with company when killed X-Wing. Okay. They realized they can't sell any more basic infantry, so they allowed you to double up squads so they could sell you more, and then they realized they need a bigger format for people to buy more. Yeah, literally. You know, all these pictures of people owning 40,000 points of an army and then laying out on a table of Warworld. You don't think AMG have seen shit like that? Like, how do we make people do that with Star Wars games? Of course. That's what they want. They want you to buy more. Can't believe Shatterpoint got concorded. Yeah, it's because Star Wars Shatterpoint was too woke. I playtested Marvel Crisis Protocol before it released. I was testing characters that still haven't released to this day because there's too many characters for Marvel. It's kind of like part of the fun of Marvel Crisis Protocol, isn't it? Because they're just like, it is literally everything. They're never going to run out of releases, and as soon as they do, they just make one again. You know. I wonder if they'll go the STL route. I know some critics have done that. I don't think they'll go STL route because of the IP related nature of Shatterpoint. The problem is with like 3D printing is fundamentally it'll lead to piracy, you know. That's the problem. It just leads to piracy. Let's be honest. Just catching up with the chat. Interesting because they've been using the Shatterpoint terrain in Star Wars Legion promotional and backup boxes, etc. And our little Legion community, even if Shatterpoint was done, I don't think, like I said, I don't think that would be like a great indication, especially if it's just because it shares the universe. It's just cheaper to like reuse the terrain and stuff rather than having to paint more or make more. But it's clearly just showing that there's a focus, you know what I mean? Yeah, X-Wing got caught just because it just became way too costly to maintain. The hand-painted miniatures on a store shelf, great idea, until you literally need like thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Then it soon ramps up in cost. So then you've got, with X-Wing, because you're, and Armada, because you're selling all these pre-painted stuff, you're getting them manufactured, then you're paying them for pre-painted, then you're shipping them across the world, and then you're paying an IP tax. Like, the profit margin was probably quite slim. So, are Legion and Shatterpoint different scales? Yeah, they are. They are different scales, which is why I kind of said, like, if it works with a box, but they are different scale. As a hypothetical, do you think it would be impossible for AMG to transition to releasing a game of their own IP using the gameplay mechanics of Legion, Shatterpoint, Marvel Crisis Protocol? I don't think that's impossible. No, I think that would. I think without the IP, I think the games would still work fine. I think they'd be far less popular, because AMG has basically become the Disney miniature company. You know, they're owned by Asmodee. Don't get me wrong, they're not owned by Disney. But they are the Disney miniature company. They only make Disney games. So I feel like that's probably going to be their focus, is just like, they probably have the talent and the experience to be able, they clearly have the game making experience to make their own game. You know, ultimately, no matter what characters you're playing on the board, Legion would work, Shatterpoint would work, Marvel Crisis Protocol would work with just generic stuff or just like a unique IP. But AMG is the Disney company, really, for when it comes to miniatures. They make IP stuff, so I think they'd really struggle to push a new IP on people. Different scales was where Shatterpoint failed. 40k and Kill Team using the same miniature promotes try in both games. I personally don't think that Star Wars Shatterpoint was to be used as a gateway to Legion or vice versa, where Kill Team definitely is, you know? People buying to Kill Team have loads of random units and ultimately try 40k, you know, or vice versa. They play 40k and then they've got, well, I've got that unit, so I'll try it out in Kill Team. I don't think the plans were to have Star Wars Shatterpoint be a gateway to Legion. Like we've kind of mentioned, like they had Marvel Crisis Protocol. It feels like they were kind of playing or building Legion, and then they inherited, it feels like they were building Star Wars Shatterpoint and they inherited Legion, X-Wing, and Armada all at the same time, like, because they had the big FFG split, you know? So it kind of feels like they had Shatterpoint being made and then they took on Legion. And I don't think I'm out of pocket to say, I'm sure people can correct me if I am, it definitely showed that Star Wars Shatterpoint was their thing and Legion wasn't for a long time. Shatterpoint got a lot of support, got a lot of fanfare, and then Legion was kind of like, we should probably do like a new edition, maybe we'll release new rules and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's like that sort of thing. It's like, oh, Legion's kind of like, well, we focus on Shatterpoint, but we'll keep Legion ticking over. And they've realized that leaving Legion ticking over is like money left on the table, whereas Shatterpoint is just costing them money or just not making as much. Again, clearly Shatterpoint's making money, or they would have cancelled it. If it was a dead game, if no one was buying it, if it was losing the money, this announcement wouldn't be we're making it a specialist game. It would be we're cutting support, you know. We're killing the game. But they've just realized that they can just refocus their efforts and make more money producing more Legion rather than spending the same amount of money for Shatterpoint and making less money. That's really what it comes down to. How many indie design studios get created from this round of redundancies? Probably at least one. Probably at least one, yeah. If you had Legion or Army R3, would you want to pay £50 to £100 to try Shatterpoint? Well, they have to pay that to play Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is a similar game. You know, it's the whole point is they're not shared games like Kill Team and 40k. I don't think that, like I said, I don't think that was the point when it came out. Yeah, it'd be better if the whole game was built with Legion models. Yeah, it'd sell way more. Because, well, it'd probably sell more. I don't actually know. It probably would sell more. But that wasn't the point of it. Kill Team is an onboarding game for 40k. Shatterpoint wasn't an onboarding game for Legion. Maybe that's part of its downfall. I don't know, but it was like Marvel's Crisis Protocol is really popular. Let's make a Star Wars version. Oh shit, we've picked up Legion now. Legion per dollar makes more profit, you know? It's all about like I said, if I spend every time I spend $1 and I make $1.50 making Star Wars Shatterpoint, and every time I spend $1 on Legion I make $3, I'm gonna make more Legion. That's really what it comes down to. It's just the same investment is producing far more money. So It's like I said, it's not that the game's dead. If the game was dead, this press release would say Shatterpoint's over. So I wonder if a new studio called GMA springs up. Games mass atomically. It wasn't meant to be that, but once they got the Legion license, it should have shifted. Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, maybe they would have done that. But once they'd invested, it's too late, you know what I mean? Once they've spent 100k on molds, 100k on rules design, 100k on this or whatever, probably more, I don't know. It's definitely difficult to go, oh fuck, yeah, let's fucking kill this game off and start again. Yeah, the sunk cost would have been hard to eat. That'd be the problem. So, but ultimately, that's the big drama. Let's have a look what Reddit has to say, because there was a press release put out on their Instagram, but it's the same one we've already read. Will Shake is now the co-head of studio, and Brandon Anderson, this is new name to me. No mention of Simone Elliott. I assume she has exited AMG, but no idea under what circumstances. Also, the former Simon guy, David Pretty Overseas Miniatures Plasma Day, likely tells AMG what to do in extent. This is terrible. This is terrible. But also, like, the lead marketing guy for AMG as a whole recently left as well, which is pretty quite crazy. He was, like, basically, like, the AMG guru. You know? He's a great guy. I only met him last year. Wonderful guy, really nice, but he's also done one, which is felt like absolutely wild. You know, that definitely didn't seem like it from what he was telling me at the time. We had like a bit of a meeting in the expo. It was really great. Like I had a good hour chatting to him. It didn't sound like he was on his way out. You know what I mean? It did, from what he was saying about the plans, the future of AMG. Didn't sound like he was leaving in 6 months. AMG has always been a models and painting first, game system decisions later company. Not the first time it's called a system to get shelved. I don't know if that means... I don't think that's true. X-Wing got shelved because it's too expensive. This is a pretty overall optimistic press release on my casual read. It is evident that last mini Strav that Shatterpoint releases were going to be fewer and further between, unfortunately. I believe them it'll still be supported for a while, and they've announced a good amount of products. It's just months apart instead of weeks apart, like the frantic Legion release schedule. Lots of fun name drops about Legion games and battle forces. I feel like this press release is the bad news, my mate. My interest is peaked for what they want to share tomorrow. They apparently can't miss, because that's true. There is a big announcement stream happening at 9 p.m. PST, which is about 9 a.m. PST, which is about 5 o'clock today for UK viewers. Where they're doing like a big announcement stream, or a big like future planning stream, and I imagine that's kind of like, this is what we're planning on releasing for these games. This is what I imagine there'll be quite a lot of Shatterpoint, you know what I mean? But it'll be like yeah, it'll be that their announcement. They'll be announcing like stuff that's happening for Legion, Shatterpoint, Crisis Protocol, and kind of like going, this is the steps we're taking forward. I don't think they'll focus too much on the press release, but they'll kind of focus on like, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Sadly, again, it's at 5 p.m. today. He left FFG right before their round of redundancies. Coincidence? Yes. Yes, it is, but still weird. That is weird, yeah. Yeah, very weird. Is it a Phil Spencer moment where he's kind of been, he left before being made redundant, you know? As it was kind of those, you know, if you don't get pushed, you'll get shoved. You know what I mean? I don't know. Can I have a share about Shatterpoint? The models are absolutely gorgeous, but what I'm seeing from the core game, it doesn't seem Star Wars-y enough to get a lot of traction. It's basically a pushing game, which in Marvel Universe I think makes sense, but thematically it always seemed odd in Star Wars. This is very true, I would say. Yeah, there's a lot of pushing and moving around in Shatterpoint, which doesn't really make sense. I think the attack system's really fun, but I think it definitely wears thin quite quickly as well, where you kind of like got your flow chart of how you want to deal damage and stuff. It becomes very numbers, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like very much like, holy shit, I did loads of damage. It's like, Okay, what's the best way I can do this? So let me figure it out. We'll go across here, and I'll go up there, and then I'll go down there. I think it's really fun at first, but I do think I felt like it did kind of grate on me a little bit, you know? It was kind of just like, how do I optimize this every time? And it's like, ugh. You know, I just want to do damage. I want to roll some dice, and I want to say, take this, you know? Because it's like, the way it works, if you don't know, it's kind of like a flow chart for attacks. Depending what character or weapon or stance you're using or whatever, and you like roll your dice, and then they roll their defense, and you're left with like a number of successes, and each success lets you move across like a flow chart, like of I'll do 2 damage, and I'll do another 2 damage, and then I'll do push 1, and then I'll do stun and 1 damage or whatever, you know, depending how many you get, and the further you get, they all cumulatively add together. So beautiful sculpt skeleton models really allows the sculpt to shine and can be painted up beautifully. I played one learning game, it wasn't for me, and I think any other IP context could be fine, but I'm hopping up and down ladders and catwalks and non-force units shoving people around didn't feel very immersive. I like the ability trees and stuff. They were shipping loads of product to Legion. People were saying Legion was dead, all they care about is Shatterpoint. If you played, love it. Glad they have a Star Wars game they enjoy. It seems like it's not going anywhere, just reduces some focus. Yeah, the thing is with it, it's just popular. It is just popular. Let's be real. It's clearly just not quite selling as well as they'd hoped. It's not a shame about Shatterpoint. I feel like Shatterpoint really cost both Legion and Marvel in their momentum. MG had 2 successful games and tried to make a third, combining them and just end up hurting them all. Okay, bud. Okay, buddy. It seems exciting to shot. We've started to lean into Star Wars Legion, and the quality is solid, and we have a strong community of Star Wars fans. So far, new Legion releases have been doing rather well, and hopefully this continues their strong trend as a miniature game that are a great hobby to have. Like I said, if you play Star Wars Legion, this press release is an amazing news. So, yeah. If you play Star Wars Legion, this press release is amazing. It's just if you play Shatterpoint, it's a bit annoying. Like I said, disappointing, not completely sad. So looking forward to do Legion models. Feel bad for Shatterpoint fans. It does feel like the new Spec Ops mode is intended to absorb Shatterpoint players there for the gameplay. That way AMG can pitch multiple formats vertically integrated where you can use the same models across all other modes. Can't say it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense, and probably should have always been the plan, but the model enthusiasts lose here. So I'm getting to Legion through, though I'm selfishly happy to see them make it their priority. Yeah, so it feels like now, with this press release, that they're planning on making Legion have skirmish, skirmish, normal, massive, you know what I mean? Level 1, noob, mafia boss type games, i.e. they're making a skirmish game with Legion models, which makes sense. Like I said, it's just we can make Shatterpoint. We can make Shatterpoint with Legion, and then we can make Legion, and then we can make Legion Big Legion, you know? So that does just make sense. I'm gonna go quick scroll. Yeah, but will they release giant dice and templates to make it cool? Yeah, they should do. That's the only reason I'm gonna get into it. Oh, not yet. If I was AMG, I would have folded Shatterpoint into Marvel Crisis Protocol. That'd be quite funny. Imagine like a Saga edition where you could just play it all together. That'd be so fun. I remember when I predicted this a couple of years ago, and I was told I was wrong. I said that people like the mechanics of playing Crisis Protocol. The people like Star Wars are playing Legion. This would just stall out or cannibalize their existing customers. Yeah, the problem is like say, yeah, Star Wars Shatterpoint is very similar to Crisis Protocol, but it's Star Wars, so it's got Star Wars flavor. Whereas Legion it's definitely its own thing. You know what I mean? So the reason that like Age of Sigmar has like such weird and wacky rules, like double turns and the way it puts lists together and the way the missions work compared to 40k. So it feels like a different game. Ultimately, I strongly believe that Games Workshop have given or have continued to give Age of Sigmar the double turn is for the sake of difference, you know. 40k doesn't have a double turn. It doesn't have anything like that, you know. There are similarities across the two games, don't get me wrong, but they are fundamentally very different games. Whereas it feels like Marvel Crisis Protocol and Shatterpoint were very similar games with slightly different flavour, you know. What's going on with my hair today? Awful. 100%. Everyone I know that dabbled in Shatterpoint either returned or discovered Marvel Crisis Protocol and Legion. Felt like a halfway house, not as strong as either. Really cool minis, would have been interesting content if Legion didn't already exist and have such rightfully huge bases. Rightfully huge base, sorry. I was like, what do you mean huge bases? It's not the tiny minis. It's always going to have an uphill battle, finding its niche while being outclassed by other games for squad and army battling respectively. Yeah. Oh dear. Am I correct in understanding that AMG begged Asmodee for the Star Wars license so they could make Shatterpoint, killing Armada and X-Wing, and I just pulling the plug on Shatterpoint? Well, this isn't true. This isn't the reason, and then this isn't true. What's this one? I'm enjoyed by the release of Clone Wars faction for Star Wars Armada, which was purportedly all invested in Shatterpoint development, has now resulted in the third game line of AMGs being sidelined and killed. I'm going to politely say is I'm glad I've left the company behind and moved on to games where companies don't string along their consumers about development that never comes in and kills the product line. I really hope these poor businesses lead to a strong and negative consumer response to this company. Okay. Bye-bye Shatterpoint, right. Too little, too late, okay. I love reading negative comments. Regarding to I'm she's moved to Asmodee as part of their head licensing department. Not surprised this was her job when she was at FFG. Oh, interesting. I mean, those people don't really realise it's kind of like FFG and AMG were almost the same company for a little bit, and then Asmodee, the umbrella company, kind of split them up and kind of went, FFG, you make board games and card games. Asmodee, you make miniatures. It's not really like, they're not really two different companies. They're fundamentally two different companies, but everyone who works at AMG, or a lot of people who started up at AMG, basically worked for FFG before that, you know? It was basically the interconnecting of the two companies, because they're umbrella of Asmodee, basically made them feel like one company. It's just separate now because it's like AMG is the miniature company and then FFG is the card game board game company. Yeah, it's Games Workshop versus Forge World versus Citadel. It's exactly the same. It's three companies, but they're all one company, really. You know? So it's like going, AMG stole the license from Fantasy Flight. It's like, no, fucking Asmodee moved it. You know? They just moved it from... I don't know if Fantasy Flight is owned by Asmodee, but obviously they closed net for sure. But they just moved it around and just went, fucking... This is the miniatures department. It's called Atomic Mass Games, you know? So if it was a smaller company, it'd all be one building, you know? So yeah, anyway, fundamentally, the news is if you play Shatterpoint, it's a pretty shit day for you. I do apologise. It's not over, but it's sad. Whereas, if you play Legion, or you're thinking about getting into Legion, what a fucking day, bro. What a fucking day. Got announcements later. What a fucking time. Asmodee owns FFG. There you go. Yeah, it's the same fucking company. It's the same fucking company. Shut up. So yeah, there you go. That's it. So that's the drama. That's the news. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching it. There isn't much else. I think there's been an update for 40k, but that was the drama news. You know what I mean? Sorry, I was texting Georgie. We're dealing with Cloud. She's in a cone, guys. Cloud's in the cone of shame today. She is not a happy little kitty. We took her for an operation yesterday. She's been spayed, and she's like wearing this fucking cone, and it's awful. Asmodee owns itself now too. Went independent last year from their parent company, so that might be where they're changing things up. Yeah, they're just refocusing. Like they're just like, what makes money, what money. It's clear, very obvious. It's like Shatterpoint doesn't make as much money. So why have they got like equal team sizes? You know, if like I don't know what it is, but if there's 10 people on each team, Legion makes more. Why is there not more people on Legion to make even more money? You know. Do I have a picture? I don't think I do actually. Oh, I do. Get a depression suit for it. Girl kit is heal better in those than the cone. We asked the vet and they were kind of like, we only really recommend the suit if it's like becomes a problem. So he kind of said like, what's the? We kind of just went, what's your suggestion? They were like, probably just a cone. But they gave her a terrible cone. They gave her this cone at first. It's like a puppy cone. It's like, it was huge. So she just kept like getting out of it, and she doesn't wear a collar. She's microchipped, so we don't bother collar going in because she doesn't go outside. But yeah, we were like, this cone is awful. It's like a puppy, like I said, it's a puppy cone. They like basically like shoved a bandage through it, and I was like, oh, that's not gonna be fucking good. Lasted all of 3 seconds. And yeah, Billy, shout out to Billy, what a guy. He had a spare kitten cone. So yeah, it was good, and that was her last night. She was not happy about it, but she's much better at it now for sure. But yeah, she's not a fan, so she's gonna wear that for about a week. So, but I'm gonna like take it off her when I finish streaming, when I can keep an eye on her. I've got some like bits and bobs to sort, and then I'm gonna like keep an eye on her. So I'm gonna take the cone off. If she starts like licking, I'm gonna have to put it back on, but I'm gonna like give her a break. We prefer spongy collars that are like travel pillows. Can't use cones. Our stairs are too steep and they hurt themselves. That's not a bad chat. Yeah, 2 people mentioned that. Can you just like buy them on Amazon or something? Cat cone. What do you call it? Is it like a... Oh! Oh, look at that one! Oh, that's so big. She's a little flower. Oh my goodness. I can get this? Oh my god, I'm actually tearing up. Bro, I'm actually tearing up. What the fuck? That's so cute. That's so cute, bro. Oh, that'd be so much better for her. Let me send a picture to George. Inflatable collars. Is that what you mean by donut, or is it literally like a donut one? Cat donut. I said it's cat donut, just beds. Oh wait, cat cone collar soft. We're sending Georgie loads of pictures. Yeah, that's so good actually. That's so much better. The cone upsets him so much. I know, she hates having the cone on. She's not a fan. Yeah, there's one that's like a oh, bruh, do I get her an actual donut? The problem is she's a kitten. Well, she's not a kitten, she's fucking tiny. So I have to make sure I get like one small enough, but big enough for her head. Her head's big, but she's a small, tiny cat, you know what I mean? Donut collar One Piece. The One Piece? Oh, it's on Prime as well. It can come tomorrow. Free delivery tomorrow. I could get that for tomorrow. A little fucking inflatable donut. What have I missed? I'm going to put clown in a donut. The problem is, does it attach very well? That's my question. You know? Can you make it smaller? This one isn't real. It's just a picture. Yeah, we should get something like that. A little flower or something. Because my concern is, how do you, like, keep it on her head? Because she's just going to knock it off. Get a little fucking soft donut. She'll be sound, though. Oh, why did they tell you this at the vet? Why did they say put this fucking horrible plastic cone on? You know? Well, what the fuck is that? First squad's ready. What a day. What a day to be announcing first Shatterpoint squad ready. Oof. Terrible day. No comments. Oof. Oh, bro. Great models as well. Great models. What happened to her? She had an operation. She was spayed yesterday. So yeah. Supposedly it helps with like loads of like types of cancer as well in cats if you get them spayed. So it's mostly just because we don't have to be uncomfortable. Because obviously she's uncomfortable when it's the time of the month, which is like super shit for her. But also just like yeah, she fucking sprays everywhere every month. So it's just like constantly following around with pet cleaner. It's just like, she's like kind of annoying, I won't lie. Let's be honest, it's kind of fucking annoying. But also it can help with like breast cancer, like womb cancer and stuff like that, you know. It's like yeah, it's good for the cat overall. Girl cats also have the unfortunate problem if they want to have a litter, they'll just run off and get one. Yeah, exactly. So you don't want like get an idea of running away or anything like that. So we don't let them out anyway, but like yeah, we don't want like that to be a problem. But my boy and girlie all got fixed as soon as they were hit 4 months. Yeah, Georgie was a bit reluctant to get Cloud done. We got Inky done very young, like almost instantly of getting him. But the procedure for a girl cat is a lot more intrusive. So she was quite worried about it and being quite protective, I won't lie. But we kind of... But the problem is because she sprays every month, it's just a nightmare. And she's clearly uncomfortable. So we got her booked in and finally convinced George to come get booked in. But yeah, it was yeah, we got Inky done straight away. When we were kind of like, we've got one done, that's the main thing, you know what I mean? All sorted. And then it was like, oh, she's actually super uncomfortable every single month, and it's just, like I said, not annoying. I don't think when she's like meowing and stuff, I don't think it's annoying, but it's clearly not good for her. And then yeah, the spraying on shit is annoying. You know, here's your fresh bed, piss. You know, here's like, I'm just doing some hobbying down here, piss. My first I don't know if I've uploaded it, but I filmed my my second Gundam unboxing a long time ago. I obviously uploaded one of them. I didn't upload the second one. Reason being because she kept pissing on the floor mid fucking filming. I just opened an alt death scythe and then she pissed on the floor. I was like, God damn it. I'm like, fuck's sake. It was literally like, oh my god. Oh my god, Cloud. Jesus. It's not her fault, you know me. I don't blame her. It's just annoying. My wait friend couldn't spay her during COVID. She ran off and had 6 kittens. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. But yeah, like I said, that's what we don't want. We don't want to run away. She's never been outside. The only time she's been outside is in a box, you know what I mean? So. Also, that it was really bad. When she was done, the fucker didn't take out all the bits, so she still went into heat. Are you joking? Are you joking? What a nightmare. But yeah, we just like keep an eye on it because, like I said, she's got like fucking. They took so much off her. She's like bald all up her side. I was like, yeah, it's going to be invasive, but like it's not going to be like this. It's like half the cat. She's half bald, bless her. And then they shaved her paw to put the catheter in or whatever. And then they were like, they couldn't find her veins. They had to shave the other one. I was like, bro, she's come back bald. She's come back like one of those fucking bald cats. Our youngest boy Laszlo is 7 months old this week, and he's now twice the size of our oldest boy, who's 4 years old. Maine Coon. You got a Maine Coon? Holy shit. They are huge, yeah. Georgie's obsessed with Maine Coons. They are massive cats. Jack, if you don't know, a Maine Coon is fucking humongous. Look at the fucking size of this cat. It's a very bad picture. Look at the fucking size of this cat. That is a jaguar, not a cat. It's like owning a lynx. Yeah, literally. Literally like owning a lynx. Friend of mine had a Maine Coon mixed with a Bengal. It's a giant murder machine. I bet. I fucking bet, dude. Did you see the drama with Trench Crusade? It's actually, was it a while ago? An hour-long video? Fuck, I'm not watching an hour-long video about Trench Crusade. Fuck that shit.
There is a huge...
That's 30 minutes? Tell me the drama. Do the 3D printers no longer go brr? An hour-long list of issues. An hour-long video to say printer no longer go burr. Fuck that. People out there with Apex Predators on their couch. Yeah. Chat, is there a good Trench Crusade drama video? I hate that guy as well. I remember watching him. It was so fucking stupid. But for a predator, they are cute. True. True. They've said copyright abuse, so I kind of want to watch it. The hour-long video goes over the first drama than the new stuff. Should I ever flick through? I just remember watching this guy, and he was just like, he put like baby crying sounds over a video, and I was just like, I'm not watching this, bruv. I really can't sit through discourse. I like discourse. Some of the videos are rough though. Some of the videos are rough, I won't lie. So talk about the 3D prints.
List. You would expect that changes like that would be updated and reflected in the reported models list, so that the people who initially downloaded the model would know to the state of the STLs on
tells you very clearly
newly released community license, permanently updated without informing their backers. The only way to check this is by cross-reference.
Watch the man baby cried about 40k being worked, got 3 minutes in and quit. That's what this guy did. That's how I'm a bit like, I'm unsure when I want to watch him.
them with the old models, and overall this reflects extremely poorly on the transparency of their communication. Despite having been informed several times and having had ample
I'm skipping the
time to fix
STL
it,
stuff because we know that the STLs are pretty rough, let's be honest.
Fortress straight up ignores these issues. They downplay the severity and they continue to make the same mistakes. They have been caught actively omitting information or even outright lying about the state of the STLs on several occasions. With that out of the way, let's go over the brand shield controversy in relation to their newly released community license.
We both wanted to do a game community first. Now, obviously, every single games company and publisher are under the sun says that they are making games community first. They just don't mean it. And I know it. I mean, I've been a video game executive for half of my career, 15 years and you go to the stage and you lie and you wave and yes, we're doing this for you, while in reality your big boss tells you very clearly you're doing this for money. So we decided that we're going to make a game, we're going to lose all our time, we're going to lose all our money, and we are actually going to make a game the way we want to do. So one of the things we did, that we made the game miniature agnostic. It's a tabletop game. Usually the 95 to 99% of the money you spend on a miniature game are the miniatures. We wanted to pay our sculptors pretty well. Our miniatures are not the cheapest. They are not the expensive by a longest shot, but neither are they the cheapest. But you don't have to buy them. The game officially supports miniatures from any manufacturer. You don't have to buy anything from us. So again, it's the go against what the normal common sense of doing good business does to you.
Before anyone jumps to...
Is that supposed to be a big dig? I don't know. I'm sure he's got something to say about it, but everything he said there was pretty legit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everybody wants to make a game for the love of it. Everyone wants to make a game for the love of it, but ultimately people have to pay their wages, you know? Everyone loves a capitalist society until people start saying we are conforming to capitalist society, and then they're like, I hate this.
Crusade defense, saying companies have a right to defend their intellectual property. Obviously, that is correct, and nobody is disputing that. If people are straight up selling direct copies of their miniatures, that is wrong. But when innocent people get caught in the crossfire, that is also wrong. Imagine if somebody has a guard dog that then mauls completely innocent people living across the street. It would be ridiculous to say, yes, but people have a right to protect their property, and then ignore any further context, or worse, even say that the victim probably deserved it. And quite frankly, that is exactly what Crusade wants you to believe. Considering Crusade's lofty statements about being miniature agnostic and supporting individual creators, it came as a big surprise when they were called out for enforcing their copyright through a company called Brandshield. This came to light when they were called out by a creator called Diceverse, who is a sculptor that makes STL files for tabletop that can be used for games like Crusade. He claims that his merchants, these are people who pay him a monthly licensing fee that allow him to print and sell his models, were receiving a lot of DMCA takedowns on places like eBay and Etsy. I've been in contact with various people who have received DMCA takedowns and can prove that what Crusade has been doing is not merely protecting their IP, but arguably amounts to DMCA abuse. First of all, the
thing is with it is, though, it's like saying that a game is miniatures agnostic basically means they're not going to enforce any type of miniatures to be played with that game. Now, I'm only watching this from this moment on. I've not watched any other part of the video. I'm just watching the IP drama of it. That doesn't mean other people can make miniatures for your game. It means that you can use any miniatures in that game, you know? Excuse me. Just because this game doesn't enforce what type of miniatures you can use in the game doesn't mean that they can take artwork and make miniatures from it. You know, that's not what miniatures agnostic means. Every game is miniature agnostic, yeah, 100%, totally. But they're not going to enforce it. They're not going to like hold a tournament. Or if Trench Crusade said we're holding a tournament at our HQ and said we're gonna make a tournament, you have to use our miniatures, then they'd no longer make a miniature agnostic game. However, if people are using their artwork and making miniatures from it, that is IP infringement. That doesn't mean they're no longer miniature agnostic, because miniature agnostic doesn't mean you'll use anybody's models that made for Trench Crusade. It's that you can use any models you want, you know. I mean, all I'll say is principles are great until you realize people aren't putting their money where their mouth is putting your game, then need to pivot. Then you need to pivot to exist. Yeah, if people... The thing is with it, though, it's like, I think the issue they're probably having is Treasure Crusade is massively popular. It's massively popular with the 3D printing community, so people are making knockoffs, you know? And miniature agnostic doesn't mean you can use knockoffs. It means you can use anything you want that is still not IP infringing, you know?
DMCA takedowns are a first step of a serious legal procedure. It can ruin people's livelihoods because platforms like eBay and Etsy can and will block and remove people's stores. If too many...
This isn't a problem if they are IP infringing, which I don't know if they are, but yeah, if people are committing IP theft or making stuff that is IP infringing, then I don't see an issue with this at all.
Any of these strikes comes in. Treasure Crusade knows this, as they even allude to it in their license, stating that they are not responsible when that happens. The rules when submitting a DMCA...
Is this we don't ask platforms to remove them or close storefronts unless the selling question refuse to comply with previous takedowns or continue to create infringing listings despite repeated takedowns. We need to escalate. Sellers should be aware that different platforms have different rules when it comes to consequences of takedowns, and they bear full responsibility for these. Yeah, they're saying if you infringe on our IP, we're going to tell you off. We're not necessarily going to take you down, you know? I assume it's a typical thing of sales listing models for as for Trench Crusade. Yeah, that is against IP infringement. That doesn't mean anyone on their dog can profit from their company when they say they're miniature agnostic. I've only watched a minute of this and I'm already angry at this guy again. Miniature agnostic is just for games, not for copying designs. You assume they're original. These tedious modes are so boring, just desperate to find something to whine about rather than being creative. Yeah.
Takedown are fairly straightforward. It must include identification of copyrighted work claimed to have been infringed. So, for example, for their miniatures, they could link to the models on their store or include pictures. It must also include information to help the accused party identify which specific items are to be removed or altered in order to comply. Without sufficient information, the claim is essentially invalid, allowing platforms to deny...
Isn't it funny that I said I was going to watch this guy and I just thought he'd just have a shit opinion and I was right?
...a takedown or request further information. The confusing part here is that Diceverse has already been told by Trench Crusade developers themselves that they had no issues with this model.
In case of my 3D skulls, they are 100% original creations, definitely do not break any copyright laws. Okay, let's see them then. You know? From that one half screenshot I saw... then they were just like direct rips.
He's generally a very well-respected member within that community. Apparently, the developers literally used his terrain files themselves, so they clearly approve of what he's doing. So the physical models of his designs being sold should in theory also be fine. Diceverse claimed that several of his merchants had been struck for using terms compatible with Trench Crusade, after which he warned them to change this terminology.
This is so dumb. Guys, I can't believe that the term that they've copyrighted, they're like using it to like protect their copyright. Isn't that fucking crazy? Isn't that fucking crazy? I can't believe that they said this is for Trench Crusade when it's not, it's third party.
To stay out of trouble. But these are not the only people who
I'm waiting for, if the fucking baby starts crying, I'm going to say this is the worst YouTuber on the platform, honestly.
Struck on Kickstarter's public DMCA list. You can find that on January 15th. 5 different projects received a DMCA strike by Brandshield on behalf of Trench Crusade. And when investigating these claims, you immediately notice that the description of copyright material does not include any examples or links of what is actually being infringed upon. For all 5 takedowns, they literally just used a copy-pasted blanket statement without a further context, clearly in breach of DMCA guidelines. Even a company like Games Workshop usually has the courtesy to provide reference links. And I think it's fair to say that from first impression, it's obvious that Trench Crusade is not operating in good faith here. But we did of course investigate further. And it gets worse. I've been in contact with 4 out of 5 of these sellers, and most did not want me to disclose the private conversations or specifically mention their projects, so I will not do that.
in that screenshot.
But we did of course investigate further, and it gets worse. I've been in contact with 4 out of 5 of these sellers.
3D printed miniatures terrain for tabletop RPG, Warhammer 40k, and any of your favorite grimdark games. AI slop, and also using a copyrighted term. It's not Trench Crusade, but this is literally the problem. It goes worse. Literally, that you can't do that.
And most did not want me to disclose the private conversations or specifically mention their projects, so I will not do that. However, what I can say is that
it was originally designed by us. I could originally design a Space Marine. That doesn't mean it's not copyright infringing. You fucking idiot.
not a single one of these made one-on-one copies of official models or artwork. They were either intended as proxies or were merely themed to be compatible with Trench Crusade. One of them is literally just a set of gothic terrain pieces. Their only crime was either mentioning Trench Crusade or a faction related keyword. They did not copy official artwork or models in any way. And for a company that claims to be supportive of individual creators, sending out DMCA claims demanding to remove the entire Kickstarter over such a minor transgression before they even release their own community license seems extremely draconian. Fortunately, all
Sorry, just had to get out my system. Do you do a smash if you use any of the unique icons? Yeah, they'll literally take it to court, whereas Trench Crusader said we'll politely ask you to take it down.
of their projects have been reinstated once they remove these keywords. However, other people...
Look, I don't care. YouTube was a mistake, okay? YouTube was a mistake. Let's be honest. Let's just be real. I'm part of the problem, but YouTube as a whole was a mistake. Why has this guy got the shittest opinion, the dumbest opinion I've ever heard, and he's allowed to have a platform? You know what I mean? He can just spout this shit off to 134,000 people and, like, no repercussion whatsoever. I hope Trench Crusade say, you've used our artwork without permission, take this video down. That'd be funny, because this guy's an idiot.
Especially those selling on Etsy and eBay have not been so lucky. It has been confirmed that they also just received copy-pasted statements that are not actually referencing any infringements. The really bad thing for them is that removing Trench Crusade related keywords has not helped much at all to prevent the DMCA takedowns, because those kept streaming in, to the point that one of the merchants I've been in contact with has now received about 40 takedown requests against his eBay shop from Brand Shield.
Of course, the majority of people are pretty much copy-pasted, so I've already sent little rants on the contact us part of their page, but I can't access them. I had a message in December. They took down over 33 of my items, which I've since relisted with different wording. But I had 6 taken down this Monday, so I can grab screenshots of them, of course. And the most recent email to Factory Fortress. So much for Trench Crusade being a miniature agnostic game. That's not what it means! You fucking idiot! Sorry, I had to get out of my system. I'll admit, I thought Trench Crusade was going to do the next best thing with how G doing their cease and desist, plus the fact they also use Brand Shield. It feels like they just turned into a watered down version. Oh my god. That's not what it means. Oh my god, these people are fucking dumb, dude.
On behalf of Trench Crusade, despite having sent several emails to Factory Fortress and Brand Shield informing that the takedown request against his eBay shop from Brand Shield on behalf of
Trench Crusade compatible. You can't say that in your listing. It is not related to Trench Crusade. It is your own thing. Fine, whatever. But it is not Trench Crusade compatible, because then you are using the copyrighted term Trench Crusade in a thing that is not owned by Trench Crusade, which is against it's in copyright and IP infringing. How is that so fucking hard to understand? Don't put you can't use Trench Crusade in the title for an SEO search term. That is not allowed. That's why they're taking you down, bro. Are you fucking dumb? I thought this was going to be a great time the way I could commit theft all day, every day, and make so much money from it. I can't believe that Trench Crusade are a watered down Games Workshop.
Crusade, despite having sent several emails to Factory Fortress and Brand.
How is this video on 10,000 likes? Are you fucking dumb? Are you all stupid? Down with Games Workshop. We will 3D print everything. I thought this was miniatures rip-off IP agnostic game.
Shield informing them that he is not selling their official models and he is just a merchant. He has not had any meaningful replies. The issue is that despite having removed any Crusade related keywords or
He's removed them, has he? What about that fucking screenshot we just looked at? Huh? Did you even fucking consider? Did you even think about that? No? I didn't think you fucking did. I don't think you fucking did. You put the evidence of him using the keywords in the fucking video. What are you trying to say? He's not fucking using them. Ah! Ah! How can you be so stupid?
compatible with French Crusade, the DMCA takedowns just...
It says it on the fucking screen! It says it there! Oh my fucking god, I'm losing my mind. Listen to what he says. I'll put subtitles on for those at home who struggle.
The merchants I've been in contact with has now received about 40 takedown requests against his eBay shop from Brand Shield on behalf of Trans Crusade, despite having sent several emails to Factory Fortress and Brand Shield informing them that he is not selling their official models and he is just a merchant. He has not had any meaningful replies. The issue is that despite having removed any Trans Crusade related keywords or
removed any related Trench Crusade related keywords or compatible with Trench Crusade, shows screenshots of keywords that are copyrighted and compatible in the motherfucking title. Are you fucking stupid? Are you actually stupid in the head?
Super
Do you
chat
actually drink
£5.
bleach?
Been a while since a proper Mikey crash out.
Do you
Love
actually
this.
eat Tide
Embarrassed
Pods?
Smiley face
Please
emoji.
tell me. Please tell me you eat Tide Pods, because that would explain it. That would actually explain what you're saying. That would explain what you're saying out of your mouth. If it is a mouth. It might not be. It might be AI, ChatGPT shit. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking care. But you said they're not using it, and then
Super
do a
chat
screenshot of them
£5.
using it.
Here's some money for paracetamol.
Is this a psyop? I'm going crazy. I'm absolutely losing my mind. How can you be this stupid? How can you be literally this stupid? I hate when I crash out, my voice goes so high, but hello. Anyway, thanks for the supers. Appreciate it. Thanks. Just gonna add your name to the list. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Battle farm, sure. And Gabo, thank you. Appreciate you. Also, Jets, thank you, mate. Appreciate it. But Mikey, it's miniature agnostic. But Mikey, shut the fuck up. How about that? Very screenshots from emails, Discord, MMF messages. Ah! Thank you for the 2 Jets. Appreciate it.
CA takedowns just keep streaming in. Initially, this resulted in a temporary 10-day ban on selling. What makes this exceptionally predatory is that after 10 days...
Just had my suspension lifted on eBay and been hit again. Another 10-day suspension. It's an absolute joke. I'm just going to avoid the game from now on. I will get some stuff sent over today because they're an absolute joke. Like, you know, like when you sell something, like I sell Gundam cards on eBay. You know what I mean? I sell Gundam cards. I buy cards and then I'm like, I've got too many of this one. I sell them on eBay. You know, I'll put in the title Gundam card game card and then XYZ, whatever card it is. If I started making Gundam card game compatible cards and I put Gundam card game in the title of my custom cards, which are not Gundam, but they're custom, I would get banned. Even though I sell, and I have like 40 cards listed right now, but they're all official cards, so I don't get taken down, even though I use Gundam in the title. But if I make one fake Gundam card, and I put Gundam card game in the title, when it's not for the Gundam card game, it is third party made, it's handmade or whatever, I will get banned because that is IP infringement and I'm trying to profit from it. But Mikey, Gundam isn't card agnostic. It fucking it is. If I get a piece of paper and write proxy, and I fucking make my own card, I'll fucking show you it's card agnostic. But guess what? That doesn't mean it's IP free.
Brandshield immediately sends new takedowns to repeat the process. This really
Good!
shows that this is being
That's what's
used as a
supposed to
strategy
happen!
to harass people and get their shops taken down, rather than resolve actual infringement. This
It's not harassment to fucking be told off for stealing. It's stealing.
particular seller is now at a point where eBay told him that if he receives 2 more strikes, they will close his shop, and there is nothing they can do for him. This is a respected seller who has sold over thousands of products and has not had a single negative review in 12 months, by the way. Another seller has even shown me proof
He's not had a single negative review, but he has been thieving. He's literally been stealing from people. I clearly outline the designs are designed by K-Tech Designs and they are unofficial proxies. This is ensured not to mislead anyone, and we all know if someone's searching for Treasure Crusade, they know what's third party, which ones are... No, that's not true. Because if you say Trench Crusade in the title, people will think it's Trench Crusade. It doesn't matter if you go, oh, they actually... No, you said it's Trench Crusade, but it isn't. So you are lying. You're wrong and lying. Official licensing. These models are sold under the commercial license of Crab Miniatures. Where does it say that they're allowed to be used for Trench Crusade? Where does it say that they are copyright Trench Crusade so I can put Trench Crusade in the title? It doesn't. It doesn't.
He deliberately stated his miniatures are not associated with Factory Fortress or Trench Crusade. He has even written confirmation from Factory Fortress that they see nothing wrong with his listings, and it
Got a word back from the higher-ups. I'll just move my head out of the way. Got a word back from the higher-ups, and they stated as long as you remove any mention of Trench Crusade compatibility and any names that could allude to Trench Crusade branding, that you should be good. Because that is how copyright works. They've copyrighted the term Trench Crusade so people can't profit from the word Trench Crusade. You are inherently profiting from the word Trench Crusade. That isn't allowed.
As well. If you don't proactively defend your IP, you lose it.
It's not even... Well, Cancer Ryan, thank you for 5. Totally, 100% I agree. But this isn't even a, like, if we don't defend it. That is just not allowed to use the term Trench Crusade for your fucking search term. So it pops up when people search for Trench Crusade because it can be... You're confusing customers. And you're profiting from the name that they've copyrighted. They've copyrighted the word trench. They haven't copyrighted fucking man with a pointy hat. They've copyrighted the term Trench Crusade. That you can't use that. And they'd be reasonable. Please just remove the word Trench Crusade because we fucking own it. Specific names, titles, etc., such as Warband or any factions. Please be thorough to avoid the situation, but also release community guidelines soon. So it just says don't use the term Trench Crusade or anything we own. That doesn't mean they're no longer miniatures agnostic. That just means they're protecting their IP that they want to make money from, that they don't want you to make money from because you don't own it. They do.
still got struck by
Why did I put this fucking video on?
and Shield on their behalf, and when he contacted them again, they completely ignored him. By their own admission, Trench Crusade has already sent out 3,000 copyright takedowns over the span of a year, and has demonstrated...
Because everybody... If I go on eBay, right, if I go on eBay, and I search Trench Crusade... I'm just making sure I'm not getting doxed. I don't think I am. If I search Trench Crusade compatible. Compatible. That's not allowed. Aren't they stolen? They're the official ones. Like half of this isn't legit. You know? This isn't their miniatures. They're just knockoffs. This one is, I think. Proxy warband. These are all just going to get taken down. Because they're not legit. I searched Trench Crusade. I expect to find Trench Crusade. Trenches of Midgard. Trench Crusade compatible. This isn't theirs. You know? It's just, of course there's 3,000 taken down. Look how many there is. Look how many there is. That one's a legit one from Hungary. If it says compatible, if it says proxy, it's not allowed. You try selling 3D printed Warhammer on eBay, I fucking dare you. Dare you. Try selling a fucking Sunday PlayStation 5. I'm sure you'll get told off and probably fucking lawyers sent around.
These are not just against people performing piracy, so it is safe to assume that a lot of sellers are in the same situation. In the community license, they had admitted to using AI for finding and flagging infringing listings, but they clearly state that all takedowns have been done manually. Let me quote, "We do issue takedowns on infringing content and have been doing so for a year now. This is done via a third-party IP protection service. We use this service because it would be impossible for us to do this ourselves. We had to issue almost 3,000 takedowns last year, which is not something our team can handle unless we were to employ a very substantial in-house legal team. For the same reason, it is impossible for us to contact each seller individually to resolve the matter. I find it strange that they deliberately go out of their way not to mention Brand Shields because we already know that that is the party they are working with. Brand Shields."
It's just a company that does this thing. What is the problem? Yeah, everyone fucking uses AI. They literally said they're not doing AI takedowns, they're doing AI scraping. Which is, you know, I hate AI, don't get me wrong. But that's one thing that it's good for, is doing scraping, you know. That's literally what they said in your video. That's what you quoted in your video. Our partners use AI tools to track potential infringements, but then they're all enforced by humans. What? Like, I hate AI, but what's wrong with that?
Admitted to using AI for finding and flagging infringing listings.
What's wrong with that? That's what you've said. What's wrong with that? Explain. Explain the issue. They're only using people to enforce the IP. What's wrong with that?
But they clearly state that all takedowns have been done manually. Let me quote, "We do issue takedowns on infringing content and have been doing so for a year now. This is done via a third-party IP protection service. We use this service because it would be impossible for us to do this ourselves. We had to issue almost 3,000 takedowns last year, which is not something our team can handle unless we were to employ a very substantial in-house legal team. For the same reason, it is impossible for us to contact each seller individually to resolve the matter. I find it strange that they deliberately go out of their way not to mention Brand Shields because we already know that that is the party they are working with. Brand Shields is a really sketchy IP protection company based in Israel of all places, and before all of this already had a really bad reputation for doing abusive DMCA takedowns on behalf of Games Workshop. Before their statement, I would have..."
Okay, the Israel thing, bit weird. All right, fair enough. Give you that one. That's your bone. It's a company that helps enforce online copyright. What's wrong with them using the same one? I don't understand that. I don't think it's like some like fucking higher upper power that's like, yeah, we're the ones. Israel's the ones that are gonna protect their copyright with AI. It's just an AI takedown. It's a copyright company that uses AI to track stuff. Like, that's their job. Otherwise, Factory Fortress would have to hire a team internally to manage all of the copyright stuff, where they could just do it externally, so they don't need to hire anyone because it's cheaper and easier to do it that way.
At least granted them plausible deniability that Brand Shields was just being overzealous. But now that
they've literally said that they're using humans to enforce the copyright, not AI. The AI scraping it, and then he's quoting someone saying that the AI is taking them down. He's literally quoted them saying that they use AI to track the data and then only use humans to enforce the copyright, and then he's using as part of his argument someone claiming the opposite. Why do people watch this video, sorry? I'm sorry. Anyone with half a brain cell can realise the fucking stupidity of it. Is this guy just stupid for fun? Is it stupid for views? Is that what it is? Is that where we're at? But Gobbo, thank you for the gift, man. Appreciate it. But AI bad narrative. AI is bad. Don't get me wrong. AI is bad.
Gifted member.
But he's quoted them saying one thing and then using an argument where they're doing another. I'm just... Lost for words. Don't need to write to cause drama on the internet. You just need to drone on. Yeah. Drone on for 51 minutes. And then put in the title in the thumbnail. What's it say in the thumbnail? Copyright abuse. Abuse. And then also post, Trench Crusade is a disaster, here's why. It's just a double down. You got 500,000 views on that one and 14,000 views on the next one. It's just a fucking double down, clearly. Farewell, Warhammer. Games Workshop goes too far. Games Workshop attacks unmonetized fan art. Like, this is where we're at.
They've expressly stated that all takedowns have been done manually. If there was any doubt, they provided clarification. That actually is much worse, because it means they are fully aware of all of this. What makes this even worse is that
Are we reading the words on the screen or what?
sellers who do illegally sell the official Trans Crusade miniatures remain completely unaffected by this. There are examples of sellers with listings that literally use the official artwork, names and miniatures that have been available on eBay since November. So that means that over a period of 2.5 months, they have not been taken down whatsoever. Meanwhile, people who try to do the right thing and comply with removal of keywords have been unfairly getting carpet bombed with no recourse. So not only
I mean, they're not though, are they?
Only is Brandshield's AI seemingly incapable of flagging actual infringements that any basic Google search will show you. It is actually fraudulently targeting completely legitimate sellers, and Factory Fortress knows exactly what's going
Completely legitimate. They're not though, are they?
on and is absolutely complicit in this. So this is absolute madness. In the license, they are also pearl-clutching about their design for the Maximilian class knight, claiming that when they released the artwork, within a week it had been copied and put up for sale with identical unit names, the Trans Crusade name and other copied features. And apparently this is supposed to be such a blatant example of piracy and copyright infringement that they felt it validated specifically mentioning it as an excuse for the copyright crackdown. But if we examine this in detail,
That is totally copyright infringement because they've released artwork for a planned miniature, you know, and then people are selling it, you know. If I fucking see fucking Mona Lisa and then I start selling models of the Mona Lisa, that's copyright infringement, you know what I mean? like that is just theft. That is just theft. That's not you deciding it's not theft because you saw a picture and then it's completely original because I fucking unplug my headphones. It's completely original because I started the design from scratch by using a picture. No, you fucking stole it.
the claim actually falls apart. First of all, the artwork itself is already basically a copy of the very first search result when googling for Gothic armor, down to the very post itself. This is a very common historical armor style that just cannot be copyrighted, and the term Maximilian...
Okay, if I see one miniature with a spear in one hand, shield on the floor in the other one, that's copyright infringement because it's exactly the same. Here we go.
either refers to another set of armor that came after this, or refers to the historically prominent name within German nobility, like Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian I. Obviously, they own the copyright and exclusive distribution to the artwork itself, but due to the many real-life historical references of anything that Trans Crusade makes, claiming similarly named designs are blatant rip-offs is quite a stretch and will require significant proof to hold up in court. To my knowledge, the only actual creative elements of this design is the shield. When searching for these supposed rip-off proxy models of this, I could find 3 examples. The first one is indeed a
I'm so fucking done. I'm honestly so fucking done. I'm so fucking done, honestly. Guys, you can't copyright it because the helmet's from an old... It's inspired by old historical helmets. It's not fine, come back!
One exact copy of their artwork, but the creator himself already stated that he will not be selling or distributing it, and saying that devs will probably release their own version, so that is not an infringement.
Okay, so this one is a 1-for-1, but he's not personally going to be selling it. Fine, okay, fine.
Creator himself already stated that he will not be selling or distributing it, and saying that devs will probably release their own version, so that is not an infringement. The second one, while obviously very similar, does not have the shield or the halberd, neither in the artwork or in any of the weapon options within the files themselves. Furthermore, it has only a handful of downloads, 25 at the time of recording to be precise, so to call this an example of rampant piracy threatening their livelihoods would be extremely disingenuous.
Did they list this one as an example? Or did they list that one as an example, sorry? Or have they already taken down all the extreme copies and now you can't see them? Why is this one up if this is an example? If they've got all this AI brand shield stuff, would they have not taken it down already?
Neither in the artwork or in any of the weapon options within the files themselves. Furthermore, it has only a handful of downloads, 25 at the time of recording to be precise, so to call this an example of rampant piracy threatening their livelihoods would be extremely disingenuous. The final example is so visually distinct from the original design that I also cannot reasonably call this an actual infringement of the artwork. If we go by their own definition of what is apparently too close.
But they're calling it Maximilian Knight, and the problem is this one I think's fine, whatever. Like, they're calling this one Maximilian Knight. Maximilian is a fairly generic term, sadly. But to release a miniature called Maximilian Knight, Space Marine is also super generic terms. But if they release a miniature and called it Space Marine, they're probably going to have some problems on their doorstep. You know, they could call this knight literally anything in the world, and they probably wouldn't care. But if you're going to tread on the toes, and they're we're announcing a miniature called, I don't fucking know, Dreadnought of Space, and then someone else makes a miniature called Dreadnought of Space. You know, they're going to be a bit of an issue, even if they're completely different designs. Oh my god, I just want to kill people, but lore exists. Jankovic, probably.
Original design, that I also cannot reasonably call this an actual infringement of the artwork. If we go by their own definition of what is...
But again, if they're saying that there's rampant piracy, we've had to deal with it, and that's why we've had to move further with this, and these ones are the ones that are still up. Probably reason why.
Apparently too close, then almost nothing they make is original. The Maximilian Knight looks surprisingly similar to the Holy Roman Empire Maccabian Knight model from Golden Dragon games, all the way down to the halberd and the engine on the back. And this guy from the Stormtrooper box looks just way too similar to a Warhammer 40k Dark Angel Space Marine. Not to mention the spike on a style helm that has been done 1,000 times before. Their designs are definitely not original enough to validate this type of complaint.
But they're not selling it as a Dark Angel! It's all about context. If you're making this thing that's kind of similar, calling it the same name and saying it's for that game, that's copyright infringement. Star isn't copyrighted, Wars isn't either, but you're in trouble with Star Wars. How are these whining knobbers? I don't know, bro.
So all of this just boils down to whether or not they have enough money to hire lawyers to go after people and bully them into compliance.
Independent creators in the gaming space that are very talented, they are hugely passionate, but it is almost impossible for them to make a living because they cannot get the visibility. And we said that we have this intellectual property now that the people like. So how about we let everybody else to use it as well? If you do everything yourself, we just want to check that you don't do anything absolutely barbarous that we can't support, and you can use our IP to sell your own product. Again, we got a lot of warnings from the industry experts, and we decided to ignore them all.
In their community license.
So they're saying that we decided to let other small creators. Does this say everybody, or does this say we want certain people to make products with this thing? Because they've shown that they're happy to work with so many other different manufacturers or designers. You know, Eons of Battle just released a huge terrain set with Factory Fortress, you know, with Trench Crusade. Cool. They've also shown that they've done it with multiple other designers. This isn't them giving wholesale freedom for everyone and their dog to make imitations and call it Trench Crusade. It's saying that they don't want to do exclusive. At the time when they made this, they didn't want to do exclusive miniatures for it. They wanted to kind of let other people profit from the IP with them, not for them, with. You know, bit of this, a bit of I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You can design stuff, but we take a license fee. Whereas if you just randomly selling shit on eBay that says Trench Crusade compatible, it's fuck all to do with them. They're gonna take you down. I don't understand what the problem is with that. You know, he just compared a model to converted Dark Angel. This guy's actually dumb, to be honest. Let's be honest. This guy is actually dumb. I don't know why I put him on. I don't know why I put him on, to be honest.
Anything
but now I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm kind of stuck.
absolutely barbarous that we can't support, and you can use our IP to sell your own product. Again, we got a lot of warnings from the industry experts, and we decided to ignore them all.
In their community license, they attempt to portray themselves like the victims being preyed upon by rampant piracy. Just a small team who are reluctantly
We have no sugar making money off Trench Crusade. This article aims to clarify official honest position regarding community content. We love all the crazy stuff our community comes up with, and we also find it cool that our creation could support others. Trench Crusade is one time opportunity that represents the income and careers of our team. We sure you can understand that we do not need to put our business affairs first. We still want to maintain a community-focused approach and do something that very few Wargames have done before, despite the series turn into text. We just necessarily do underscore how serious we take this. I want you all to know that we're very pleased to be releasing this license. We've worked closely with legal counsel and brand protection consultants to create balanced rules to keep our IP safe whilst allowing other independent creators to operate with a clear view of what's allowed and what isn't. We also expect to spend even more time with creators manage compliance with their own projects to be like the compatible with Trench Crusade license. This is one of our commitments to you. The commitment will go both ways, or it will not work in the long term. Before going into detail, let's thank all the creators who previously reached out for clarification and played by the rules. This is your moment. We're truly excited to see all the crazy stuff we come up with. So there's rules to this. You can't just use this wholesale. That's what they're saying. If you don't follow the rules, it won't work. You can't just say compatible with Trench Crusade if you're not I imagine it's a handshake thing, you know what I mean? You can make money off Trench Crusade, but we also make money with you. You can say it's compatible with Trench Crusade if we said you can. I mean, I haven't read this full license. I imagine that's where we're at. Let's be honest. Community license. So this is the Trench Crusade community license. General rules. Please make it clear that your project is unofficial. You are not allowed to state, imply, or give the impression that your project is official, affiliated with, endorsed by, approved by, or sponsored by Trench Crusade or Factory Fortress Inc. in any way, shape, or form. This includes statements and labels such as compatible with or similar. The one exception to this will be allowed via the separate Trench Crusade compatible license as described below in section 2.3. You can't just say compatible with unless they say it's compatible with because they've given it the official nod. That's what this says. You agree that we may use copy modify, distribute, and make everything works if your project on a roll-free, non-exclusive, irrevocable, transferable sub-license, worldwide basis for any purpose without having credit to you, pay you anything, or obtain your approval. That's the work scale there, but to clarify, this doesn't mean we own anything, just that we can share it in different formats, such as social media, community gallery, because it's blown away, yada, yada, yada. 2.3 Trench Crusade compatible license. In order to promote creators and projects that follow the rules, we offer the Trench Crusade compatible license. Creators can apply for this royalty-free license, which allows you to promote your projects are compatible with Trench Crusade. All submissions to the Trench Crusade compatible license, subject to our approval, is in our sole discretion. You can find more details here. So what they're saying is you can't just say it's Trench Crusade compatible if they haven't said you're allowed to say that. So everyone on eBay who's like, here's some random shit, Trench Crusade compatible, you know, and if they haven't got approval, if they've got no affiliation to Trench Crusade and they say it's Trench Crusade compatible, that is against their license, you know. Trench Crusade seems like the most chill company, but you have to protect your IP. They are pretty chill because what other company allows you to apply for a free license, you know? Like it's all there. It's in black and white, you know? It's in black and white. To say it's Trench Crusade compatible, you need official approval. You can't just say, oh, it's Trench Crusade compatible because it's the same size. It's Trench Crusade compatible because it's fucking I said so, and that's what I put it on eBay. They're basically saying, much like the Eons of Battle thing, and I'm sure, I don't know off the top of my head, but I've seen definitely loads of Trench Crusade compatible Kickstarters that have run and been fine. It's because they've got, you know, it's like an official handshake. It's like you're good, you're okay, you've got approval. It's literally free as well. It's a royalty-free license. They're not even asking for any money for this. They're just asking you to check with them that you can say it's compatible. This is one of the dumbest videos I've ever watched.
Their IP due to a few bad actors in an attempt to protect their livelihood, and that for every single takedown they had no choice but to act and were fully in the right to do so. But knowing what is actually going on, this narrative that they're trying to spin to justify their copyright crackdown is actually just laughable. Trench Crusade raised...
They've literally been so fucking open about it. They've been pretty open about it. It's so obvious. You can't say Trench Crusade unless they've given you permission. That's it. That's all it comes down to.
For $6 million in revenue within half a year, which is even before the plastic miniatures. This clearly shows that if you have the goodwill of the people, they are overwhelmingly willing to pay for the quite expensive prices, and the developers themselves are probably on the verge of becoming millionaires themselves. I have nothing against people being more than adequately compensated for their work, but a couple...
6 million in revenue doesn't mean profit. 6 million in revenue doesn't mean they're all sat on 6 million each. What did it say?
This narrative that they're trying to spin to justify their copyright crackdown is actually just laughable.
Sorry,
Trench Crusade raised over 6 million.
We are well over 6 million USD in sales. That's not 6 million in profit. That's not 6 million in profit. What are you on about? They're all becoming millionaires. That's sales. That's how much they've made wholesale. That includes zero costs. Zero cost have made 6 million. Fucking hell. If they sell a book for 50 quid and it costs them £49 to make, that means they've got 50 USD in wholesale, or 50 US dollars in sales. They would only make £1.
Dollars in revenue within half a year, which is even before the plastic miniatures. This clearly shows that if you have the goodwill of the people, they are overwhelmingly willing to pay for the quite expensive prices, and the developers themselves are probably on the verge of becoming millionaires themselves.
Oh, I'm so tired, chat. I'm so tired.
I have nothing against people being more than adequately compensated for their work, but a couple rich guys who have done nothing but underdeliver, whining about their livelihood which they've extracted from the goodwill of people through repeated misleading and broken promises, while simultaneously ruthlessly destroying the livelihoods of innocent people they tricked into thinking that Trash Crusade was a welcoming IP for individual creators, is just extremely hypocritical and quite frankly morally reprehensible. The crazy thing
This is so dumb, bro. This is honestly so fucking dumb. I've never watched a more stupid video than this one. I've never watched a more stupid video than this one. I've never been so angry. And I've literally been watching this for an hour. I think I've watched 10 minutes. I think I started watching 10 minutes. Yeah. I've literally got through 10 minutes of this video and I've been watching it for an hour. This guy's fucking dumb. This is the worst YouTuber in the community. This guy is actually dumb. And I don't know if he's dumb because he actually thinks this, but it's just rage bait. That's all it is. This is one of the worst videos I've ever watched. It is so full of just arguments that are wrong, with evidence proving they're wrong in said video. And it is just full of dumb arguments. Absolutely, completely dumb arguments that make zero sense. They're not fucking millionaires because they made 6 million in sales. They made 6 million in sales before costs. It's to make them sound better. That's what you do as a company because you want investment. You go, we made loads of money in sales, clearly. Let's just not tell anyone it costed 5 million to make 6. You know? Oh my God. Oh my God. This guy. I'm not watching the rest of that video. Fuck. The worst channel I've ever watched. I've done it before. I put a video on. He said people were crying that had crybaby sounds in the background. I was just like, what am I fucking watching? And then I randomly clicked on another one again. Who posted it? Who posted it? Jake. But one of the mods posted it and said, have you seen this? This is the worst video I've ever seen. Please don't ever watch this person. They're awful. Oh my God. Just like it's just rage bait for rage bait's sake. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just you need to get mad at Trench Crusade because I don't know, I'll fucking make something up in the next hour, surely. God damn it. What a fucking idiot. God, I've never watched something so stupid with so many bad arguments and then proving themselves wrong straight after. I'm so fucking mad right now. I'm so triggered. I'm so mad. I'm just angry. I'm just angry now. I can feel the rage inside. I've been completely rage baited. I can't believe it. I fell for it. Ah. What video? I don't even want to fucking talk about it. I don't even want to fucking talk about it, bro. They took that sales capital and turned it into plastic too, on top of paying for books, shipping, the original miniatures. Exactly. Yeah. How much was this Trench Crusade book I've got? How much did this cost? You know? Like I said, how much did that cost? Well, the full cost of it, what I paid for it, will be listed as sales. But the book was free? The book cost nothing to make? Isn't that crazy? It's just... Oh, I can't put it back now. Fucking go back. Don't piss me off as well. But the important thing is he's model agnostic. Oh my God, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm actually just gonna drive my car so fast off a bridge. It just be so much easier, honestly. Oh my God. Repeating this, I don't think the hype behind Trench Crusade was just 3D printing shops wanted a quick buck. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, mate. I don't think that's true. It's right. It's just fine. You know, I think the hype was there because it looked like a cool game. But it's just a bit such a weird launch. Yeah, such a weird launch. Just like the launch of it with all like the Nazis trying to on board to it, and then stopping doing 3D printing support is a bit cringe. Don't get me wrong, but I understand they want to grow the company because they've got so much money to spend. So what do you do when you got so much money to spend? Is you go and spend it to make more money. That's just what you do. Oh, I know, Mike, you talk about Gundam. All right, one sec. Maybe describe a trench because I was using other games for printing. True. Very true. Oh, I think I left my bag downstairs. Oh, it's upside down. Damn. Damn. How we talk about Gundam now, are we? Oh, it's in the top loader. I just pulled it out of the top loader. Excellent. Let's go. We got another alt chat. We've got another alt art chat. Let's go. Move. Oh, that's a cool design. So you can pop it out of the top loader. There's a little sticky back. Like, it's like a file. You know, like a file divider. That's smart. Is this Gundam hour? Yeah, it's Gundam hour. I'm gonna get my clan deck. That's a red Gundam. It is, yeah, clearly. Chat, I need everyone to super chat so I can get some more alts in my deck. Okay. I need everyone to super chat so I can get some more alts in my deck. Let me find it. Where is it? It's my last one of this card to be alt. There it is. So this is the original card. This is the new one. Oh. Oh. I'm going to get him sleeved up. Let's get this shit one out. Rare. Disgusting. One sec. They're all double sleeved as well, chat. They're all double sleeved, obviously. So much more red, same picture. They're clearly very different. Ah, oh, there we go. You got a camphor? Wait, you got the C++ camphor? No, you didn't. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. I appreciate the drive to get super chats. So you're apparently Warhammer 40,000 channels, so you can fund an Italian-related hobby. I mean, I've spoken about Star Wars and Trench Crusade today, so you know it's going well. It's going well. Chat, it's just stacked. This deck is stacked. It's so nice. It's so nice. It's double sleeve, so it's huge. Look. Altar. 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 Oh, missed one. That's not an alt. That's fine. I can't do it very well. They're too sleeved. That was 4 alts. That's not an alt. Full art. Full altar. Altar. Okay, that's plain. Fine. Fine. Altar. Altar. I'll zoom in so you can see better. Oh, wrong way. Wrong way. Not an alt. Not an alt. Not an alt. Not an alt. Altar. Oh. Not an alt. Not an alt. Fuck. I'm looking so poor right now. Altar. Oh. Not an alt. Fuck. Not an alt. Fuck. Altar. Oh, look at it. Altar. Oh. Full art. Oh. Not alt. Altar. Full altar. Oh. Not alt. Altar. Oh, yes. Not an alt. Not an alt. Oh. Not an alt. Sorry. Got excited. Altar. Not an alt. Altar. Not an alt. 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 Look at how shit this is. Oh! Altar! LR plus. Not an alt. Altar! Not an alt. Oh, winner's altar that I had to buy. Altar. Not an alt. Altar. Oh! There we go. Out of a 50 card deck. Out of a 50 card deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Almost half the deck is alt or full arts. Isn't that beautiful? And then tomorrow, chat, that's when it really picks up, because they're bringing out the premium assemble sets for G-Quux with alt arts. And it comes with 7 alt arts times 2, so 14. You actually got the C+ cam for that, so savage. Just bin it, thanks. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, Friday. That's when this bad boy comes out. Wait, not this bad boy. Products. I have to go through one by one. Oh. Oh. I like to make the noise that like the Dark Souls character makes when you get attacked. Oh. Comes with the minis. The G-Fred. Oof. The Red Gundam. Oof. The G-Quux Omega Psychomu. Oof. It comes with EX. Alt EX. You got Machu. You got Nyan. Oof. Where's the rest of the cards? Oh, they haven't got them on the website for some reason. Okay, I'll have to go on my Discord. Oh, ignore that. Ignore that. Wait. I'm gonna paint the Red Gundam blue. Do it. I mean, it's literally white at the start of the show and they paint it blue. Red, sorry. Look at these alts. Oh. Oh. Ooh. So the couple that I said weren't alts, tomorrow they will be. Or Friday they will be. Oh, yes. Look at that Red Gundam. Oof. Oof. And then the tokens as well. The tokens are alt as well, I think. Have they shown off the tokens? They have. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Oh, I'm so in, chat. I'm so in. I'm so in. Now I finally know how people that couldn't care less about Warhammer are looking at me. You're missing out. That's all I'll say. You're missing out. The only thing it was is that the restructuring for Shatterpoint is definitely leading to layoffs. That's the only last thing, but it doesn't specifically say, but people in the know, basically. People in the know that Shatterpoint's leading to layoffs. Anyway. I'm not watching any other rage bait videos today, that's for sure. I've covered the main topics. Can you imagine Games Workshop doing a premium alt sculpts? I mean, they kind of did do that, right? They did fucking like Warhammer Day exclusive models, which are like they're kind of like alt sculpts that are exclusive. They do the Warhammer Plus models, which are kind of exclusive alts. They're like the equivalent, I would say, the closest equivalent of alt cards, surely. Yeah, they definitely have chase models, like Warhammer Day exclusive, Warhammer World exclusive. Like I said, Warhammer Plus exclusive. Like that's the Vindicator Assassin, prime example of an alt. You know, that's really what that is. Anyway, chat, painting's over. Did you know? Painting's Jova. Painting's so Jova, chat. Look what I did today, or last night. You want to talk about 3D printing? Go burr. Painting's over. I'm the painter now, said my bamboo. How cool's that? GW do exclusive models. It's called normal stock, so they can't make enough of it. Chat, printed in colour, bro. I printed miniatures in colour. Space Marine heroes were literally gacha. Yeah, true. Show the waist. I don't want it. I can't hold it in my hand. It's too much. There is so much waist, yeah. But look at his little rivets painted on his feet. By painted, I mean change the plastic every layer. There's so much waste, but it's such a pile. Let me see if I can get it. One sec. Let me see if I can get it. There's so much. Look, I'm just getting the bag. Let me go. Let me off, I mean. Okay, I'll get this empty box. Let me just scrape it in. One sec. Because I don't have a printed feet thing yet. I'm out into fashion. God, there's so much. There's so much of it. There's so much waste. Oh, there's an Allen key there. Could do that. There's so much waste, chat. I'm like, keeps coming. It just keeps going. Kind of lid or something. I've got a box that I can pour it into to show you. But I don't really. God, there's some on the floor. Go away. This is what was created in wait for those two miniatures. Look at the state, dude. Look at the state of it. Oh, I thought it went on my desk. Conceptually, very cool. Look at the state of it. This is something you've got to be aware of when you're multicolour printing, because this... Oh, there's a bit more there. This... To make these. And the purge tower, I guess. So I'll take that off as well. That also belongs in there. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's just like, because if you want to paint it properly, I do think the best way to do multicolor is to print it in separate parts, definitely. But yeah, you are right. That is a lot of wasted plastic. I haven't weighed it, but it's not, because every time it changes color, it has to purge stuff. No, this isn't optimized at all. This is like default settings. There are ways you can make it better, such as like doing like a purge as infill instead, but it will inherently make waste. For a minute, you have to paint. What do you mean? I don't have to paint this. I don't have to paint this at all. It's done. But this is an old printer. You know what I mean? In terms of like multicolor, this is quite old. It's done, mate. Conceptually, very cool. They look decent, to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, if I was playing D&D and I didn't care about painted miniatures, these would be fine. You know? Like, what else do you need? Yeah, board game pieces and stuff, they'd be fine. I'm not going to go out and paint or print a 40k army in plastic colour, am I? But, like, conceptually, quite cool. Take some supports off, look. Let's do some ports live. Oh, the bamboo is good. I am sponsored by them, so take everything I say with a pinch of salt. But I've enjoyed it more than my other printers, definitely. It's a lot easier to use for sure. Live cracking. Whoa. Shall I just rescue this one so we can have a proper look? I need some footage, so let me record it. Let me record it, chat. I need it for a reel. There you go. Was that satisfying? Well, that one's already fell off. Focus, damn it. Oh, I'll do this bit. Ready? I'll give the A1 a non-chill endorsement. Yeah, it's good shit, innit? It's a good printer. I mean, the quality of this is pretty good. I just wouldn't recommend printing in colour. It's good for, like, if you want to do, like, little bits and bobs, or you want to change it halfway through. But, like, for a miniature like this, that's so intricate to print in multicolour, it's just so much waste. Alright, I'm going to focus. Lock in. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for, like, oh my god, you don't have to paint your Warhammer anymore. But, like, some stuff, it's alright. Like, terrain, it weren't too bad, because it's quite large pieces. If it's changing colour for, like, quite a large bit, it's fine. This had to change every other layer multiple times, so it took, like, 20 hours to print as well. 15 hours or something. I mean, oh, there's one more support, one sec. I mean, conceptually, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? That is pretty decent. Like, you would never print an army of this. But for one model, for a replacement mini in a board game, or like you'd want to play D&D, you need a baddie. You know, you don't paint miniatures. Let me just wick him off. One sec. Yeah, I keep a blowtorch in my room. What do you do? Yeah, like conceptually, quite cool. Yeah, I'd recommend the A1 rather than the A1 Mini, because they're quite cheap as well. Can I print a full core army before I drown in plastic waste filling my room? It just costs more. Because the problem is because it's printed by layers. If you think about it, it's like it's printed layer by layer, working its way up. But like, you know, like where the boot and the hand are, that's all the same layer. So it has to paint the boot black, and then it has to quickly change just for the nubs of the studs, and then it'll have to do the sword, then it'll have to change to green to do the bottom of the hand, and then when it's done, it'll have to do a purge again. For every time it changes a color, it's going to do a little purge, and then it'll move to the next layer. It's going to do it again because it's doing it in 0.2mm layers. So every one of these is every time it's had to, the white. Ignore the white and the grey. To be fair, this isn't all. It's a lot. It's most of the waste. Like all the black and the green is every time it's had to change the color. That's why it makes so much waste. But I printed it upright. You know what I mean? If I took it off the base and printed the base separately, that's like one less color change it needs to do. If I'd printed maybe like the legs and then done the red part separately, that's another color change it doesn't have to do. But for like a single miniature, like I said, conceptually quite an interesting thing. You know, if people just want miniatures painted, it produces loads of waste. You don't have to paint anything, so that's kind of like your cost. You know what I mean? Obviously it's still cheaper to waste all that plastic than it is to paint a full miniature like this, you know, like in terms of time. But that's just kind of like part of the drama, isn't it? Part of the you know, it's like part of the cost of doing it. It's conceptually quite interesting. So let's have a look at the other one. It's just kind of cool, you know what I mean? It's cool to do. It's not something I'm going to do all the time. I wouldn't recommend it as like a, you don't have to paint, you can print them in colour. Except a willing is short and you have to go like it. But yeah, like conceptually, just like quite interesting to do. People like, oh, I need a miniature for a board game. Cool, I'll just go print one. There's a lot of effort manually. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is with it is I downloaded this in colour. So I literally didn't have to do anything. I just had to put the filament in the right place. That was it. That was my only job I had to do. So like I say, if I play D&D or whatever, I need a boss monster or whatever, then it's pretty good for shit like that. Like for terrain and stuff, it's going to be pretty good to like print all your building grey and then maybe do the floor tiles a different colour. You know? I won't recommend painting all the window frames. I'd paint them manually, but like for like floor tiles and stuff, it's going to be great. You know? There you go, there's the other one. Oh, wrong way. Keep going the wrong way, idiot. So yeah, they look alright to be fair. You know? I'm going to sell these on eBay. I'm going to call them Trench Crusade compatible. So, yeah, they're alright. You know? There's a little... Not necessarily quick. It took 16 hours, but like effortless, definitely. So I do it in silver, red, and instead of brown, I use black. So it looks very 40k now because of the black. It look very goths. So... But you wouldn't really need to do anything. You could play with those now, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's board game miniatures, there's D&D and stuff. Maybe not a game where the game's all about painting miniatures, probably not, but... Mike, you need an Agony Ant section? What for? Or just at the stream? I've skipped the historical pipeline and gone to board games and cards. Yeah, board games are good. Board games aren't like the pipeline from